Hello, everybody. My name is Christopher Saunders, and this is the Connecticut Sports Talent Show, where we talk all things talents in Connecticut. And this is the Connecticut boys basketball preview for Waterbury Career Academy here in the NVL, a team that I know very, very well, broadcasting for them for many years, both for TV and for the radio. And I'm pleased to have on one of their starting players, a senior, Sonny Pierce. Sonny, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Before we get into obviously the team and yourself and such, I want to go back to last year because you and I were talking about the Darien game. And I know the following game that you guys played was tough. And I know you guys did not, come out the winner in that second round game. But to be a part of that Darien game and to show the fight and the grit and just the unwillingness to give up,
Yeah.
do you guys feel like that is something that helped the development because you were one of the few teams in the NVL that basically returned everybody from last year's team.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think it definitely helped. I mean that shot was crazy. It had us all like like on the urge to try and go on and go on to the next. Um, but that game really showed that like we have a lot of grit. We have a lot of like talented players that can not only score but can play defense. Um, Darien was also a good team, so
Mhm.
we definitely played a good team. But yeah, I think it for sure showed that we could stick around with a lot of teams, especially last year. I mean, we had a lot of people on our team, but we were young,
Mhm.
so we definitely learned from that game.
And you talk about the youth, and you guys were young. I mean, there was only a few seniors. One of them was Carlos Cali. Now he's playing football at the next level at AIC. Um, for to be able to bring everybody back, and you talk about the youth aspect. I know there were games last year that career either was winning or you guys kind of were close, but you weren't able to finish it. I feel like that experience and to learn from that should benefit the team this year. What says you?
Yeah, um, yeah, I think it would benefit for sure. He was definitely a really good leader last year.
Mhm.
He left a mark on us for sure. And actually, he was at our scrimmage today when we played Bristol Central and Wamoga, and he had words for us too. He was also a captain as well as me last year.
Mhm.
So me and him get along good, and yeah, I mean he gives us advice all the time. I stay in contact with him. He stays in contact with us. So
When the season ended and you guys were not kind of because you guys still go to school together. So it's not like in the pros where as soon as the season's over, you guys are going to different parts of the country or the state or wherever. You guys, I'm sure, talked about the season even during the spring and then obviously the summer and the fall and
mhm.
etc. Um, before the season was fully done, as far as a ribbon on it, what was it like as far as the talk with you and the rest of the team? Because I'm sure there was a lot of like, hey, next year is going to be our year or something like that. What
Mhm.
says you?
Yeah. Yeah, we had plenty of those talks. Um, Me, Jason, Drew, Zaire, Aiden, Sonny. I mean, I'm with those guys every day. Um, looking at this year, our talent is crazy. You have me, Jason, who could score the ball at any given second. Zaire will always hit a three.
Mhm.
Drew is such a sleeper. You know what I mean? Like he can do anything. But no, we talk all the time. We're not cocky, but we have like a little bit of attitude to us. So I mean, we look good. We know we're gonna do good. We just gotta fill it out.
You mentioned, the confidence that you guys have, and I've always believed every person, there's if you put prime example your team, you guys, and then you just mentioned the confidence, right? One person could say, "Oh, it's cocky, they're being whatever," and then another person can say it's confidence. I kind of compare it or say it's like that's Waterbury basketball. There's a lot of kids who believe, and rightly so, they're very talented. They can put the ball in the basket. They've shown it. And also, the kids within the city and probably even in the NVL, once you get to the Valley, because you
Yeah.
guys have played against them for so many years.
hmm
So what says you on that?
Um. Yeah. I mean. Yeah. We're not cocky at all.
Mhm.
I think with our. I think in Waterbury, people like that, like they grew up. playing basketball, watching basketball, and now the talent with basketball. It's just, I'm not saying they're cocky, but they have that attitude. And if people don't have that attitude, you're not gonna really get places. Because
Mhm.
playing fundamental now, it's like, what I mean, you're not really doing too well, or you know what I mean. Like, people gotta put on a little show sometimes, but no. I think today for sure, having like a growth mindset in basketball is really good for you. And just watching basketball, learning from them, learning
Mhm.
from a lot of people. That's how I feel. I got so much better this off season. I just started sticking with my gut, playing like how I'm supposed to play.
You talk about how the improvements that you've made, and obviously, I'm not going to ask, "Hey, what did these players do?" Because you're trying to focus both on your game to help improve, and I'm sure over the course of this interview, we'll get into the other players. What did you work on specifically on your game coming into this season?
I worked on a lot of agility. Last year I was good at defense, but I wasn't like that lockdown defender I wanted to be. But
Mhm.
really, I worked on my shot, my counter skills, like off the pick and roll, my floater, my handles, everything. I
Mhm.
was definitely in the gym a lot. You know, besides work, I have a tough work schedule, but I'm always in the gym. Extra pair of clothes. I'm always sweating, always getting that work in. I love the gym. Yesterday I was at practice. I stayed a whole hour later.
Mhm.
I love the gym, and I love getting better. So
The team in and of itself last year was one of the few teams I think in the state that had, I think, four players who averaged double figures. And then you add in Cali with the rebounds and what he put with the points. I mean, and then you think about those players are back. And you mentioned the work you put in. I'm sure Lot put in work, obviously, because his dad's one of the greatest to play, in Waterbury. You talk about Kennedy, who, although he hasn't grown height, the kid's quick. He finds ways.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And I mentioned about Jordan Williams. You look at him physically, and you're like, oh, this kid can't play. But then you got to watch him play, and he's a baller. The kid
but
can really move.
yeah,
So, do you ever think about like what potentially this season could be? It could be one of not the best. Probably could be one of the best career academy teams to
yeah,
step on a Spartans gym.
yeah. It really could. Um, I mean, I see us going losing 3 games. In my opinion, I feel like we have a good enough team where everybody's not selfish, so we can pass the ball around. You know, I mean, scoring is not a problem for us at all. The defense is a problem. You
Mhm.
know, a lot of people leak out, rebound sometimes, but I mean, as soon as everything clicks, we'll be good. But no, this season looks 18-3
Mhm.
or 17-3. I hope.
Oh
Um,
no, it's crazy to think about, and who knows? Maybe the three games that you're thinking you may lose, who knows? You may come on the other side. You never know. Basketball is a weird game.
mhm.
Um, and then to equate it to UConn, I'm sure you watch UConn or at least know about UConn. Every single night, a different guy. It could be Jackson, it could be Klingon, it could be Sonogo. There doesn't need to be the one guy like last year where Cole had to be the guy kind of in a way to kind of put them over the hump. You guys have, like I mentioned, yourself, Kennedy, Williams. Maybe it could be Yates. Maybe it's a lot after what happened with Darien. Maybe that confidence goes up. It's every single night. It could be a different player for you guys to put
Yeah.
you over the hump and make up for maybe a bad game by yourself
Mhm.
or whoever else it is.
Yeah. Um, like I said, everybody on this team wants the highest level for every other person. No one talks bad about each other. Everybody's helping each other in practice. We got hookup points. Other players are calling out hookup points to other people.
Mhm.
Like I said, this team is a bunch of friends outside of practice. In school, we're always together talking. Um, everybody's cool with each other. We never talk crap about each other.
Mhm.
I feel like this is definitely a good group of guys that's ready to, get on the road next Friday for sure.
Now the defense, as you mentioned before, is huge because to win a title, as I've seen in the many years I've been broadcasting, and thankfully was able to broadcast last year at Mohegan. You got to play defense. You can't give away easy points because it's tough to fight back when you're facing an opposing team who is very, very good. What have you and your head coach Ronan O'Leary, who's been a part of the program since the inception, what have you guys been doing to work on your defense?
A lot of defensive slides drills, man to man drills. We have a thing called shell drill. Always moving. 3 on 4, 3 on 4 drills. Everything got to be fast paced. Call ball, call ball, call ball. Um, definitely defense without no hesitation at all. You got to get to the spot.
Mhm.
Um, but no, we have a good press. We have a lot of good defenses that some people get a little tired, some people get a little lazy, and we can't get lazy. Like against Holy Cross, we can't get lazy at all. Crosby, like a lot of these teams, we can't get lazy, and that might be one of our problems this year. But yeah, other than that, we look good. We have 5 more days of practice to get better at that, and I think we'll be good.
You mentioned I heard you mention a couple times the lazy aspect. Now, is that laziness in terms of, because I feel like lazy could be used in multiple ways, but not mean the same thing. When you say lazy, are you talking about maybe the stamina, maybe the tiredness is starting to kick in because obviously fatigue?
Um,
Is that what you're talking about?
Uh, Not really, because we are in basketball shape. I would say everybody's basketball shape. I would say either making a good shot and people forget to go back in the press, or we start off slow. It's like sometimes we have nights where we start off quick or slow, and we need to start off quick every single night. Um, but yeah, it's really that. It's the lazy aspect. It's not lazy, but
Mhm.
it's the lack of effort. You gotta have effort as soon as you get into the game.
Does Ronan pick up on that? And is he on you guys if he
Oh yeah.
notices that?
Oh yeah, always yelling for sure. you
It's
know,
so funny. It's so funny that he does that because in soccer, because he was my soccer coach back at Sacred Heart, and he didn't yell too much. And seeing him yell in basketball, it's like 180.
yeah, yeah. I think he has a different love for basketball,
This is true. I mean, he did play basketball overseas, so he knows a thing or two.
for sure.
So as we look towards this season, I know you guys know the ins and outs of the NVL. I'm sure you guys have talked about, hey, this team is here, this team could be here. Is there any particular teams or players that you guys are making sure that you guys get up for to make sure that you don't have one of those games where it's a lazy game, if that makes sense?
I would say this year Holy Cross, but you gotta watch out for every team in the city. Every team has good players. I would say Jason Robinson is definitely one of the best players, like as of right now.
Mhm.
Elijah Parker, Hakeem Trueheart. Um, Wilby has a lot of size now. Crosby left. I would say Busy Beeman. He's looking good. But
Mhm.
other than that, I think you know the city definitely has a good group of guys at this point. Everybody's well balanced, so it'll be good basketball.
You mentioned some of the better players in the city, and there's a lot of them. I mean, Elijah Parker's only a sophomore, Robinson's a senior, Busy Beeman, who I just had on yesterday, he's only a junior. Yourself is a senior. There's a couple other seniors as well. It's one of those things where I think it's cool to see not just seniors. There's a
Yeah, there's a
collection of people.
variety
Exactly. And I think that's pretty cool. And when it's all said and done, and this means I'm not being disrespectful. Parker could be the best one. He's
oh,
got
yeah,
that high of a ceiling.
for sure. There's no doubt about it. I believe the same thing. So
I mean, as a freshman, he was making upperclassmen. I'm not even talking about the NVL because I saw his games when they were in the tournament, even against Wilton. And Wilton was a very good team. They went toe to toe with Bristol Central. He was going basically 100% plus, and he almost carried that team to a victory.
yeah, yeah. I watch plenty of the games. I'm with him also too all the time. I know
Mhm.
his dad very well, so you know what I mean. He's been putting in work too, so he's gonna have a good season.
Yeah,
That's one of my biggest matchups this year. That's my guy.
really. So when you play Holy Cross, if Lott's on Parker or if Kennedy's on Parker, you're like, no, 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 no.
Yeah,
I
no,
want to be on
yeah,
Parker.
yeah. I got Parker.
That I'm gonna like that matchup. If I have that game for the radio, that's gonna be something pretty cool to be able to mention. I like that. Very nice. So you guys are in Division Three again. I was
Mhm.
looking back. I thought you guys would have moved up because of the success that you've had, but you stay in Division Three. I mean, I'm not going to say like, hey, have you been looking at the other teams? Because obviously you got to play the games, you got to qualify before getting to that point. But how do you feel about being back in the same division as last year?
I feel like we're more prepared for it. We lost to Bassett, which was a very good team last year. I'm not sure if they're in Division 3 again. I'm not sure, but I saw a team. I would say Bloomfield. Bloomfield looks like a team. Hopefully we would play in the sun.
Mhm.
But I do my homework. I do my homework for sure. I study a lot. And it looks. I'm not saying easy, but it looks like we have a good path to the sun. But can't get too cocky.
No, it's one of those things where, like you said, you got to be able to put in the work. And you mentioned
Mhm.
Bassick. Bassick did move up to Division Two, and Bloomfield moved up from Division Four to Division Three. So
Yeah.
that's where Bloomfield's very good. I know they just lost their head coach, and he had plenty of rings between basketball and football, and they are always one of those. I'm sure you would agree. They're always amongst one of the top teams
Hmm.
for sports, and basketball is one of them.
Yeah.
you know. Sonny, I really appreciate you coming on. Before I let you go, any goals that you've set for yourself that you want to accomplish? You can be selfish for a second here before we get to the team.
Yeah. Um. This year I put in a lot of work.
Mm.
Last year I feel like I had a little up and down season. I would say COVID set me back a little bit, but there's no excuses. I feel like I played decent, but I didn't play like I was playing like Sonny. And AAU, I played different from high school. I put the ball in the basket too much not to bring it over to high school. So that's my plan this year. Hopefully, get get the Billy Finn. Hopefully, um, uh, go all state, all NVL,
Mm.
and just be the captain and lead the team to the sun. That's my that's my goal.
It's funny that you mentioned the Billy Finn Award because Jason Robinson said the same thing. He wants that award too. So
A lot of people want.
I was going to say, I'm sure you two are not the only two that won. I'm sure
Mhm.
everybody who's a senior wants that opportunity, and it's a prestigious award. It's one of those things where the Cy Young for baseball, the Heisman for college football. You get
Mhm.
that award, you are remembered for a long time.
Mhm.
You know? Now, as for a team, what is the mindset as far as what's the goal for career this season?
The mindset is just don't stop, don't give up. Um, Last year we definitely got in our heads too much when we started losing games. But at the end, we went on a 6 game win streak, beat Holy Cross, and lost to Naugatuck. But that put a lot on our shoulders. We were definitely in a good path going on to the playoffs. But this year, I feel like we have a good enough team to win the NVLs and then get past the second round in states. The Sun, you know, the Sun we want to go to, but as a team and as a program, we didn't get to the Sun yet. So getting past the second round will be good for us, and going to the Sun, win or lose, that'll be great for us.
And when you think about it as a team, and I'm showing my age because I've done career games since basically the program started. Um, if you guys are to make it farther than the teams that had Marquand Watson, had Jessa Doctor, had McCoy, I'm forgetting many others. Jaden Battle. I mean, there's so many names. If you make it farther than the teams that had those players, you talk about the Billy Finn Award. You guys could make your own history within the school, and
Mm-hmm.
that lasts a lifetime, just like the Billy Finn Award. What says you?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Coach already said it in one of our first meetings. This is the best talented team he has ever had. Marquand Watson was obviously, what I mean? but
You're the dude.
but when you have four people on one team who know each other, um, gel with each other is so good. I mean, I think we shouldn't lose a game, but you know,
Mhm.
our mindset is to just go, 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 and we're ready for it.
And that's the thing too. It's such a rarity to have. It's almost like when you're putting a professional sports team together. You want to make sure you put all the pieces as far as having the quarterback, having the O line, having the wide receiver, baseball, making sure you're bringing up the old with the younger players and they mesh. You talk about having those four players. Both yourself, Kennedy, Williams, Lott, Yates is going to be in the mix this season, plus the bench guys because you're going to need them for games. That group, it doesn't come around much. I've always believed it comes around maybe once every decade, maybe decade plus. You want to take advantage of that. If you guys do run into a losing streak, like you mentioned, last year, who's going to be the one to snap out of that very quickly? Who's going to speak up?
I mean, I was a captain last year, so I'm gonna be the captain again. I love those guys for I get on them in practice all the time. You know, I mean, I even curse at them. I'm like, yo, like I mean, like we gotta get it right now. Like, no more laziness, no more nothing. Like, if you want this, we all gotta want this. You know what I mean? I want it that bad. So I know Jason wants it that bad. I know Drew wants it that bad, especially Zaire, especially Sonny. We all want it that bad. So it's my job as a captain to make sure everyone's on the same page at all times, and we'll be good.
You know who wants it more though? Ronan.
I know Ronan wants it a lot. Trust me, he
Ronan,
talks about it all the time.
Ronan, I'm telling you right now, if you guys are able to play in the sun and you have an opportunity to win a championship, I don't know if they make a ring that big for Ronan.
Yeah, no, they don't.
He would be the one to probably go all out and get the most expensive carrot rock, whatever you want to call it, around. No one
Yeah,
hit, but he deserves it. He's really been a great person, I think, for the program, and he's done so much. Obviously, he loves the game. He loves you guys. He loves the team, and he would defend you guys through thick and thin. You know what I'm saying?
mhm. Yeah, yeah. He's a really good coach. I go to him for everything.
Mm,
I stayed in contact with him all summer talking about basketball. So he's been there for me. I'm there for him. That's how it is.
I agree. And also, don't forget Pete too, Pete
Yeah,
Flaming.
Pete. Yeah, Pete for sure. That's my guy.
That's my dude. I love Pete. I love him, man. He's great. I'm so happy that he's still in the school and he's doing what he's doing because
Mhm.
he's helping the future Spartans, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. He's a really cool dude for.
Now,
Mhm.
Sonny, I really appreciate you coming on. A lot of fun being able to talk with you about the program. I look forward to being able to see you guys this broadcast season for a number of games, and hopefully, you guys will have an opportunity to be able to continue on showing what you guys can do this season.
Mhm. All right. Thank you for having me.
No problem. I wrap things up here on the Connecticut Sports Talent Show. So until next time, stay safe. And remember, CT stands for Connecticut Talent. I'm Jerry Fond the Mall. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody, and be well.